morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. My name is Mike Verlander. I'm the president of Richard Childress Racing, and we are here with some exciting news today. We are announcing that Kyle Busch will return to RCR as driver of the number 8 car through the 2022-2026 season. This is exciting news for RCR, all of our employees, for Kyle, for Richard. It continues the momentum we're building in Welcome. With a goal of winning races consistently, contending for championships. So Kyle is somebody that really embodies everything that RCR and Richard represent. A tenacious focus on winning races, full of authenticity, and a kind of no-holds-barred outlook on where we need to take RCR. And so with that said, with me today are Richard Childress, Chairman, CEO, of Richard Childress Racing, and Kyle Busch, driver of the number 8 Chevrolet. Richard, have any comments for the group?
Yeah, we're really excited. This is extending our contract on out another year, and we're really excited. Kyle has been great to work with. Everybody had questions going in. I love a driver that don't like to lose. And we've worked hard. We've got some exciting things coming up. He and I are both alike in one area, that we don't like to lose. We want to win races. I still think that Kyle will win him a championship, and we want it to happen at RCR, and that's our plans. We got a lot of new things coming. This car is a lot different. It's so engineer-driven that we're stepping our engineering up more, and I'm excited about the future of where we can go. And watching Kyle race and working with him, it's been a great pleasure. He's a champion. Here's a guy that's won over 200 NASCAR races. His career is not even close to being over. That's all I got to say.
Kyle, you have any comments for the crowd?
Yeah, certainly. I really want to give thanks to Richard and Judy and everyone at RCR for another opportunity to be able to go back and drive the 8 car for next season. Certainly echo Richard's statements on there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and it's a great place to be, a great place to work, a great atmosphere, and a lot of grit and determination with a lot of people up there in Welcome, North Carolina. So we have certainly had our battles. It's been fun, but yet challenging. It definitely isn't easy. This sport is very, very tough, very, very close and challenging, and being able to score those wins and compete for those each and every week. And we know those areas in which we can improve, both behind the wheel, on pit road, in engineering, all of the above. So, this is just the pinnacle of that, and, hope to continue to build on our successes that we've been working towards for, the last 2 years.
We're going to open it up for questions. I think CMS is going to help us with some microphones.
Sky Springer Race Face Digital. I'm curious, Kyle, last year, it was the first time you didn't get a win in a season. You're staying with RCR again. How hard have you been working specifically at RCR, whether it be at the shop, behind the wheel simulator, things like that? What's some of the stuff that you've been doing as a driver, ever since last season, to try to find that little bit of extra speed? Because the talent's obviously still there. The speed's been there a lot too. What have you been doing to try to find that missing piece to finally get back in victory lane? And also to Richard, what's some of the stuff that you've been overseeing that you've seen improvements in to get more speed week in, week out with Kyle and Austin? They've both been running good, to get either of them back in victory lane.
Yeah, I think the speed has been there. More and more we continue to work on that and get that closer to where it's consistent speed. I feel like there's times in the race where we do have, top speed, but it's not the whole race, so we've got to work on beginning to end and being able to put everything together. So that's a big part of what you see a lot of these guys that are winning right now that are capable of, is they're just good from start to finish. So that's a big piece of what we're doing. As far as the workload has never been higher, that's for sure. There's a lot going on, whether it's team meetings or meetings with upper management, things like that. Obviously, each week we do our driver debriefs. Each week we're in the simulator, whether it's for GM or whether it's for ourselves and our own race team, and trying to factor in much of the simulation and making that better. And just, I would love to be up at the shop a little bit more. I will say and be honest that I'm not there as much as I'd like to be. So, maybe there's a step in that time frame that I can work that into my calendar.
I'll just echo everything he said. We got a lot going on. The small details on these cars mean so much, and that's where we've got to work more and more and concentrate on the small details. Everything's so close that the small details make the difference, and that's one of the areas we're working on.
Lee Spencer, Sirius XM, NASCAR Radio, and CatchFence.com. First of all, Mike, is this just picking up the option, or is this an extension?
It's picking up the option through 2026.
And Richard, you talk about bringing in engineering and doing certain things. And when we talk to Kyle week in and week out, it just sounds from his perspective that the car's not doing what he's used to having cars do. He needs, the car to perform at a higher level for him to get what he needs out of the car. And I'm just wondering, how do you do that from behind the scenes?
Well, it all boils down to drivers have their own feel, and we're working hard to get that feel. The first year we won 3 races right out of the bat. We've changed a little in our engineering, and I think that bit us just a little, but he's right. We got to get the car the feel that he wants, and these cars are different, and once we get that feel he wants, it's going to be Katie bar the door.
Go ahead, Jordan, you have it.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Question for both of you. Mentioned the option. Has there been conversations and about maybe extending this past 2026, and where do those things stand?
I think Mike and he talked about it. We always wait till we get started the following year, or maybe later this year. We'll be discussing a future, and there's a big future there for Kyle.
And then another question for Kyle. You get asked this a lot, but you're kind of getting that point in your career. His retirement, or when that retirement date has started to creep in at all, about setting it?
No, not at all. There's kind of the vision or the plan, if you will, on, being able to race in some truck races with Brexton alongside him. So obviously that's 6 years from now before he can make that start. So that would sort of be an idea of when I would look at stepping aside from Cup Series racing. But, it's a long ways out.
Claire. Or who? Go ahead.
Sure.
I'm clearly no media facilitator, so.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. Kyle, for you, why does this make sense now from your perspective? You've mentioned the work going on behind the scenes. What have you seen over the last few years here, and particularly over the offseason, and all the changes that have been made behind the scenes that tells you this is all worth it and this is the right place to be for you through 2026?
Well, I think I give a lot of credit to Richard and him believing in me and giving me the opportunity to be able to come over here and have a chance to drive his cars. So for me, rewarding him with that and having the success on the racetrack is paramount. Being able to continue on when I first joined, I feel like there were some things that we were doing within the rules at that time that got us some extra speed, and then there was definitely some things that kind of came down that they didn't like us doing, and so that's sort of where we've lost a little bit. If people are wondering why have we not been able to win like we did in the first 16 races, so it's just a matter of being able to continue to work with the people that are there. It's a great culture. Everybody, I enjoy working there. I fit in well there. They enjoy having me there. I will say Austin's been a fantastic teammate. His demeanor and the way that we're able to work together, we talk a lot about the same things and describe it in much of the same fashions, but he's been a really good resource to rely on as well too. So it's good to have teammate factor that helps keep you there.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Kyle, you just sort of touched on it. It feels from the outside looking in, this is a really good match where you get in a tough spot. This is a team that your owner will take off his watch and, back you up. Have you had that kind of comfort that this team is truly behind you?
Yeah, no, definitely, absolutely. I think Mike said that a little bit, and then I've kind of echoed that a little bit. Where it is a place where I enjoy working with those that are there that I get to work around each and every week. The race team guys and stuff like that. It's definitely not due to lack of effort. I will say that. There may be some things where we can be a little bit better on here or there, a little bit smarter on here or there. Sometimes it's not work harder, but work smarter. And so we're definitely finding some of those key points. We had some turning points last season. Nashville, I remember being a distinct turning point, and then after the summer break, being another one that we've been able to come out of those a bit stronger, and so we're continuing to build on those.
There's a great chance that a number of drivers may be able to make the playoff on points, given how many winners we have at this point, looking at the history of this. How do you feel about being able to break into the top 16 in points? Is that a focus as well as trying to win?
Yeah, we have to be better at stage racing, stage points, gathering stage points, stage 1, stage 2. We have to be able. That's our weak spot. If there is one that we can certainly pinpoint really hard on. And you look at the top guys that are at the top of the standings. They've got 160 to 180 points, I think, for stage points, and I think we're in the 20s or 30s. I mean, that's what 100-point swings. So, plus, if we had 100 points from being able to score points in stages, we'd be 8th in points right now, I think, somewhere in there. So we wouldn't even be talking about the bubble. So we definitely got to focus more on that and be able to hit on that.
Claire B. Lang, there was a time when you've owned teams, right? There was a time when I would have thought you didn't have the patience to help build a team because, you wanted to win right away. And yet, you're the guy that people would want there to help build a team. Does Brexton figure into any of this, looking at staying at Richard Childress Racing? And have you gained now the patience, I guess, to help build this team? You certainly have the knowledge and the ability.
No, I haven't been Brexton's agent on negotiating terms for him quite yet. So he's 10 years old, but I will say, and I'm grateful to the fact of Richard and all of our partners that we do have at RCR, that many of them do take an interest in him and see an interest in him. Most notably, Lucas Oil is a part of his racing and stuff, and Morgan & Morgan has picked up on that and put him in a commercial, So those are really unique situations. Cheddar's as well, too, helps out on his racing. So there's a really unique situations where those partners are really happy and pleased with him and what he's doing off the racetrack. So, it helps our budget a little bit with his racing. So grateful to that fact.
And Richard, do you see Brexton as, I remember when you handed him the contract when you signed Kyle. Do you see Brexton as someone, I keep Kyle. Kyle helps build the team. Brexton comes along. He certainly is doing well.
Yeah, he is. And I did sign him a contract, a $100 bill when we signed up with Kyle. So I've watched him race some and watched him on some of the YouTube stuff or different things that somebody had sent me, and I congratulate him. I think he won the championship in Florida, wasn't it? Or yeah. And I texted him and congratulated him on that, and watched him run over at Millbridge. He's a real deal, like this one.
Do you see where he could figure into all this in the future?
Yeah, I just hope I'm around 10 years. I'm not as young as I used to be. Maybe Austin or Ty or who the hell, somebody. Yeah.
Pat Jaggers, MRN. Oh, back here. This question is for Richard. With Amazon Prime releasing the Earnhardt docu-series, for you, what's it been like to see that come to life?
I haven't seen it yet. I did about a 5-hour deal with them, and everyone that I've spoke to thinks it's great. I haven't seen it. I'll be watching it, but it's great to keep his image alive, letting people know the really history going back in time. I think it's great to have them put out this documentary. I think this is the third one.
And this question's for Kyle. Just looking forward to Nashville next week. How do you think the racing has evolved there since we started going in 2021?
I think the racing in Nashville's been really good. I remember years ago, long time back in the Xfinity days and whatnot, it was a one-groove racetrack around the bottom of the racetrack. Wasn't really conducive to a whole lot of side-by-side racing and whatnot. But the last few years has really been good there. You know, the track really widens out. There's guys that are running all the way up at the top groove. So it's been a good show. So hopefully the fans enjoy it. I hope it's not too hot next week. Perfect weather here this weekend in Charlotte. So look forward to Nashville.
We got time for one or two more questions, and we got to wrap up. Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, Kyle and Richard. Kyle, obviously you won a lot in your career, and this is probably the only lull you've had. Has this been humbling at all? And when you do win again, I imagine that Richard Childress Racing is going to have one heck of a party.
Yeah, absolutely. We certainly have a winery and a champagne bistro there that we can get plenty of booze to have a good time. But excited for the next win when it is, you know, and we want to get back to that as soon as possible. So, you know, it has been a little bit humbling, I would say. You know, I feel like there's added times where, you know, it's motivation, and it gets you to have that itch of being able to want to get back to victory lane and to work as hard as it possibly needs to be. And trust me, my wife she sees that as well too, where, you know, I'm gone a little bit more than what I was, and so she's on the fact of this better be worth it, you know.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Richard, with everything that you've done and throughout your career, you've earned every right to take a vacation for a very long time and not be at the track. Why are you still here? Why does this matter? How much, you know, you talk about hope to be here in 10 years, but why is this still so important to you at this point when you have every right to go out into the mountains or go out hunting for the rest of your life?
Thank you, Dustin. Good question, but I think the thing that drives me the hardest is wanting to win that next championship, wanting to win races, and that's what I've always done. And I love the race fans. I love what we do. I even love the media, believe it or not. So, no, it's just me. I wouldn't know what to do. You can't hunt but so much. You can't fish but so much. So I enjoy this. I enjoy every bit of it.
Is there more pressure to get things done? I know in this sport it can't get done fast enough. Is there more internal pressure you feel to get it done because you say, hey, I don't know if I'll be here in 10 years?
Well, I wouldn't call it pressure, but I call it a drive to want to win. I mean, I felt like we let him down some last year by not winning a race. There's things that we've changed a lot to try to win this. Well, I think for sure, I don't think we will win a race this year with him and hopefully Austin as well. We're working really hard, and like he said, he hit the key point. You got to work smarter, and that's what we're trying to do. And I think we got a lot of good things going.
This is Custom Patch Hats. But what makes us custom? Well, that actually begins with you. We're just bringing your unique vision to life. No knockoffs, no lookalikes. Your design is one of a kind. We know hats, we know design, and we know quality. The proof? It's in our production. Hand-stitched with precision and care, with brands you know and trust. A one-of-a-kind patch deserves a one-of-a-kind treatment, all the way to your doorstep. It's how we keep it custom.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.